Okay, so I want to talk about how third genders don't prove that gender is real. Okay, because some people will try to use these different cultures as proof that this concept of gender or transgender has existed since, recorded history or for a while, right? They'll point to like Hejera or Fa-Fam-Fini or Two Spirits as proof that there's always been multiple genders or third genders or transgender people, when that's just a completely false narrative. Actually, that proves that gender is a sex based caste system, okay? Which is what it is. Gender is a sex based caste system because if these were just simply genders, they would have full access to society. They would be able to do, you know, um, live their life how they wanted, access to all positions and levels of society. But in basically all of these situations, they didn't, which just proves that it was a caste status. Okay? Like all these different so called third gender people, muxies, whatever you want to call them, they had a basically this very limited sanctioned access to in society. They could be sex workers, entertainer, like mystic types of people, beauticians, and like caretakers. That's it. If it was simply just another gender, they would be able to ascend on all aspects of society, have full access to society. Like, like how in some societies, like women couldn't ride horses or they couldn't be warriors. They couldn't have all these different positions in like royal or chieftain courts and that type of thing. They couldn't open a business because women were treated like second class citizens. They were treated as a lower caste. Okay, so for these third gender people, it was even more restrictive and controlled and limited. If all these are simply genders, they would be able to do whatever they wanted. But no, it was more about policing people. Okay, really, there's a warrior caste and a concubine caste, and it's pretty much how it was in most of the world, right? Men are suspected to be in this warrior caste, and they are above women who are placed into this concubine caste. Okay, even if you go up to a queen is a concubine. She's expected, the king feels entitled to have sex with her, and she's expected to have children. But then you have below that women in societies, even till very recently and now, the concubine caste is still being pushed on women. That's the caste roles that we're being placed in. Don't ever go outside without lipstick. That's like concubine caste stuff. Um, how there was like that thing where a guy made a spreadsheet about all the times his wife denied him sex because he feels entitled to sex. Because women, there's this still underlying caste system where women are expected to be like concubines and men are supposed to be expected like warriors. That's where you get this whole, emotionally handicapped man thing. They're supposed to, this Iron Man thing, where it's this caste role, this warrior role, right? But this exaggerated, cartoonish almost, very exaggerated binary role, right? Men don't cry, because men don't cry because that makes them more efficient, viable warriors, right? You have to be this tough, hard, stoic, super reserved, expressionless, emotionalist rock to fit that warrior caste role, right? And then we have all this sort of warrior caste type of media that portrays and depicts men like that and that type of thing. And then how women are always slotted into this sort of concubine type role, how women can't be in rap unless they present a concubine image. If we look at some of the big idols right now, it's like for women, it's Kim Kardashian, who became famous because she was a porn star. Concubine cast. Okay. Uh, Donald Trump wife was a concubine, essentially. Nude photo shoots. Let's not pretend she's like basically a wife for hire in a sense. That's what it is. How people refer to women, like this person, they'll name the man's name and his wife, like because a wife is just considered. It's like a nice way to say concubine. Gender is a sex-based caste system that slots men into the warrior caste and women into the concubine caste, and these so-called third genders were just considered like lower caste women. Okay, so they're not proof that gender is real. It's actually the opposite. It would show that it's a political, social, societal role. It's a societal role. It's a caste role. A societal role at the least, a caste role at the most. Because women they would be able to do whatever they wanted, and women would have been able to do whatever they wanted. Okay, like it makes no sense.